The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. In the glittering world of 1922 New York, Nick Carraway leaves behind his Midwestern roots to seek his fortune in the bond business. He finds himself in West Egg, Long Island, renting a modest house next door to a towering mansion owned by the mysterious J. Gatsby. Every weekend, Gatsby's home erupts into spectacular parties, drawing hundreds of guests who dance until dawn, drink endless champagne, and gossip endlessly about their enigmatic host. Most have never met him, yet the rumors flow as freely as the liquor. He's a German spy, a killer, an Oxford man, a bootlegger. Across the bay in the more fashionable East Egg lives Nick's cousin Daisy with her wealthy, aristocratic husband, Tom Buchanan, a former Yale classmate of Nick's. Their Georgian colonial mansion represents old money and inherited social position. Everything West Egg strives to emulate, but can never quite achieve. Tom and Daisy float through life in a bubble of privilege, though their marriage harbors a darker currents. Tom has a mistress, Myrtle Wilson, the wife of a gas station owner in the industrial wasteland between Long Island and New York City, an area known as the Valley of Ashes. Through Jordan Baker, a professional golfer and Daisy's friend, Nick begins to unravel the mystery of his neighbor. Gatsby's lavish lifestyle, it turns out, serves a single purpose: to attract the attention of Daisy Buchanan. Years ago, before he went off to war, Gatsby and Daisy had shared an intense romance. But Gatsby was poor then, a military officer named James Gatz, and Daisy chose to marry the wealthy Tom instead. Now Gatsby has reinvented himself entirely, transforming from a poor North Dakota farm boy into a man of mysterious wealth and refined manners, all in pursuit of recapturing his lost love. Nick, moved by Gatsby's romantic determination, agrees to arrange a reunion between the former lovers. The meeting, orchestrated in Nick's modest house over tea, begins awkwardly. Gatsby, usually so composed, knocks over a clock, symbolically suggesting time's irreversibility. Yet soon the years seem to fall away, and Daisy is drawn back into Gatsby's orbit, enchanted by his newly acquired wealth and the intensity of his devotion. The grand parties at Gatsby's mansion cease. They had served their purpose now that Daisy had finally attended one, and the two begin meeting secretly in the afternoons. Their rekindled romance unfolds against the backdrop of a sweltering New York summer, but exists in a fragile bubble that soon begins to collapse. Tom grows increasingly suspicious of his wife's afternoon absences, despite his own ongoing affair with Myrtle. The tension builds until everything comes to a head during a confrontation at the Plaza Hotel, where Tom systematically dismantles Gatsby's carefully constructed facade. He exposes Gatsby's criminal connections, reveals his humble origins, and challenges his claims of being an Oxford man. When forced to choose between her husband and her former love, Daisy falters. Gatsby's desperate insistence that Daisy never loved Tom rings hollow, and his dream begins to crumble. That same evening, driving Gatsby's distinctive yellow car back from the city, Daisy accidentally strikes and kills Myrtle Wilson. Gatsby, his devotion to Daisy unchanged even now, insists on taking the blame. But Tom, seeing an opportunity to rid himself of both his wife's lover and his mistress's death, suggests to George Wilson that Gatsby had been both Myrtle's lover and her killer. The next day, as Gatsby floats on an air mattress in his mansion's swimming pool, still waiting for a phone call from Daisy that will never come, George Wilson arrives with a gun. He shoots Gatsby, then himself, leaving their bodies to be discovered by Gatsby's loyal servant. In death, the true emptiness of Gatsby's glittering world is starkly revealed. Of all the hundreds who partied at his mansion, only Nick, Gatsby's father, who had read about the murder in a Chicago newspaper, and one former party guest attend the funeral. Meyer Wolfsheim, Gatsby's criminal associate, refuses to attend, saying, "Let us learn to show our friendship for a man when he is alive and not after he is dead." Most telling of all, Daisy and Tom have already left town, retreating into their cocoon of wealth and privilege, leaving others to clean up their messes as they always have. Before leaving New York himself, Nick has one final encounter with Tom Buchanan on Fifth Avenue. Tom remains utterly unrepentant about his role in Gatsby's death, secure in his belief that his position and wealth place him above conventional morality. It is the final straw for Nick, who realizes that Tom and Daisy are careless people who smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness. The novel ends with Nick alone on Gatsby's beach, reflecting on how the green light at the end of Daisy's dock, that symbol of Gatsby's hopes and dreams, continues to shine across the water, but its promise remains as elusive as ever. As Nick famously observes in the novel's closing lines, "So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past,